all you cheap mother DIYers like myself. Welcome to another episode of my pathetic life as a homeowner. Today's episode is trying to fix this motherfucker. I'm in the middle of a flooring project over here. Took a break, sat on the couch to watch some Die Hard, and all of a sudden the wife starts yelling out of the laundry room, "My dryer's not working! Dryer's not working!" So now all of a sudden I got a new project on my hands. Anyways, follow me along as I rip this Samsung piece of shit apart and see what the problem is. I don't even know. This thing's barely even 2 years old. What the f is Samsung doing these days? Building this shit in North Korea? Alright, here's the deal. I can power the damn thing. I can start the damn thing. But as it's running, there's no heat coming through. So something's going on with the heat portion of it or the coil. So let's take a look and see what we can figure out. Tools required, a drill or a screwdriver, and obviously a beer to calm me down, and a multimeter. We're going to be doing a continuity test on the coils and the thermostats on the inside. So if you don't know what a continuity test is, all that means is if the circuit's complete, it's going to beep. Simple as that. So let's get started. Alright, first things first, let's unplug this. Plug the vent. I already took it off. And unplug the power, obviously. Alright. So, I got barely any room to work with here. There should be a couple screws on here. I took one off earlier. And we're going to pull this off. And the reason why we're pulling this off is it'll give us access to where the coil is and where the thermostats are for the dryer. So alright, that's off. Now I'm going to take my camera and shove it in here. Right here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, you're going to see some thermostats, 2 thermostats, and at the very end is a coil. So we're going to test each of those prongs to see if there's continuity. So I was on the Internet of Things, and a lot of people are having issues with the coils burning out, but it could also be these thermostats. So if we do a continuity test on them, we'll be able to tell if they're open, which they should be when there's a situation with the coils. So if they work, or if they're closed, like this, they should be good. Let's go on to the next one. Oh. Alright, that's good right there. So these two are fine. And then this last one over here is your actually heating element or coil. So let's test this one. So we got no continuity here. Alright, nothing. No beeps or nothing. So that means the coil's burnt out. So let's pull on out of here. And next step is we're going to have to rip this washer apart, or the dryer apart, to get this unit out of here. Alright, let's get started. Unfortunately, it's no easy way to get at that coil other than ripping half this damn thing apart. So let's try to do this as quick as possible. 2 screws right here. 1, 2. Throw these in a glass to keep all the screws in. Alright, this thing's gonna come off now. Lift up. We got a connector right here. We got to disconnect. All right. Once you disconnect that connector, this thing pops off. Let's put it aside. All right. Next, we got to take this top off. 2 screws again. 1 right here. 1 right here. I'm going to be putting all these screws in a glass, but try to keep track of, make a mental note of what they look like. These 2 are a little bit longer and have a couple of ring washers on them. Next, this thing should slide forward. We're not trying to take it off, we're trying to just remove it a little bit. Alright, that's it. That's all you're going to do. Just set it aside back here a little bit. And get that out of the way because we're trying to access all these screws right here. So let's do that. All right, 1 right here. One right here. One right here. The cup. And then we got these two little screws on each end that have a little bit of plastic. One out. Two out. All right, now we open the door. 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. Take these off. Screws have a big washer on them. In the cup. All right, the white part should be loose now. We should be able to lift it or weasel it out of. We're trying to go up with this thing. It's a pain in the ass, but it's going. A little bit of, there's hooks on each side that are kind of holding it. Come on, bitch. Boom. All right, we got it off. We got a connector right here. Just got to take that connector off, and we're free. We're free. All right, put this aside. So right here, this is the inlet for the heating coil. You're not gonna be able to see, but that's the coils right there. So it's in a housing. These are all the connectors over here that we check the continuity on. So let's start ripping this bitch apart. First things first, connector right here. Disconnect that. Give us a little bit more room to work with. 3 screws. 1. Loosen that up. 2. 3. These are for a bracket that holds the coil onto it. So now we got a lot of wiggle room here. Let's try to get rid of this bracket. There's tabs in the back. There's tabs in the back that it slides into. So you bolt it on this side, and then these slide back. So you gotta kind of angle it this way and pull up, and it'll pop right out. All right, we got access. This is it. This is the coil housing. First thing you're gonna do, take a picture of the wiring. Take a decent picture, just so you have it for reference when you're throwing this all back together. So let's start ripping these off. Mine are coming off pretty easily. Might have to use a screwdriver if they're tight. This one's tight. All right, off. Housing off. Boom. So there's 2 ways you can replace this thing. You can go on the internet and find this whole housing and replace the whole thing. I think it runs you around 120 bucks. Or if one of your sensors are broken, you can buy the sensors or the thermostats by themselves, and you can also buy the heating coil by itself. So if you're going to be ripping this thing further apart, let's take it apart and see what's going on here. Just want to loosen these. Just one side. That's all you need. Throw those in a cup or put them aside. All right. That's out of the way. Let's take out all these screws on the side here. All right, there she is. Here's the coil. So, if you want to see the continuity test again, let's try that and see if we can find the break. All right. So again, we're looking for all circuits to be complete to make a beeping noise. First thermostat, that's good. Second thermostat, that's good. Coil, which we already tested, nothing. So there's a break in here. Let me see. there it is right there. I don't know if you're gonna notice it, but. So that's the brake, and this is why it's not heating. Time to replace this sumbitch. So let's try to get this thing out here. All right, so we're trying to get these out. So if you notice here, there's a little bent up tab. What that does is it stops it from going through the ceramic plate. So we gotta bend that down and then pull the, let's try this. Fuck, this is a pain in the dick. Pain in the dick, boys, pain in the dick. Alright, just gotta bend that. The little tiny tab. Alright. And then the bottom one too. Come on, old girl. And just flatten it. All I'm doing is trying to flatten it. Once you get it flattened, you should be able to pop these out. Oh, there's tabs on both sides. So there's one on each side that you gotta. There's one here and one over here. Once you get those straightened out, like that, and like that, and come right out. Bam! All right. So right here, you got a part number. In this case, it's DC47-00019A. So that's what you're going to be ordering off the internet to replace this piece of shit. So do that, and let's get back to the putting this bitch together. All right, brand new heating element. Just to give you an idea of the continuity test, let's do that again. Should beep all the way through. One side, check. Bam! We got full connection, nothing busted. Should work now. Let's put this bitch back in. Alright, so I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna slide the connectors all the way through the ceramic. And then I'm gonna bend these little tabs again, if you remember, right at the side here. Just bend them 90. I really don't have the right tools for this, but it works. Bend this one up. That ain't going anywhere. Now the bottom one. That. There, locked and loaded. All right, let's slap this housing back on. All right, easiest way to do this. Line up these holes. I'm doing it with a screwdriver. Line them up with a screwdriver. Put the screwdriver through. Sucker. There we go. Screwdriver through. And put one of these in. Make sure we don't over torque it. So let's do the same with the other side. All right, we're in. Now reversal time. Let's wire this bitch back up. You probably want to look at your phone. One black at the bottom. Blue up top. Next switch, black at the bottom. Blue up top. And then last but not least, right at the bottom for the heating element / coil, blue at the top. Alright, man. We are ready to rock and roll. Alright, so we're back in. If you notice here, there's a tab right here. We're going to try to get that in and up when we're inserting it into the very back there. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. This part's a bit of a pain in the dick. So let's get that going. Choo choo! thought. All right, so bracket next up in line. That's in. Bracket goes in. Remember the tabs. There we go. You're in. All right, screws for brackets. 2 on the bottom. One right here. One right there. There you are. Bam! Back in business. First plug. Where's your mate? There you are. All right. That's back in. Let's get the door. So with this one, let's plug this back in right now. It fucking fits. All right, that's plugged in. Now start at the bottom. Get it on the bottom. Lift up a little. Make sure the bottom's aligned, and then just kind of drop it. And these tabs, there's a little tab here and a little tab there. Don't get it, but now we got a nice seam here. Oh, fuck me. Let's go have a beer. All right. I'm just gonna go with these screws first. There we go, one here, one here. These are the ones with the black tabs on them. Then there's 3 small screws up top. Then there was the screws for the dryer on the inside, the ones with the washers. Let's throw those in. That's it from what I can remember. Let's put the top back on. Out of here. So the top slides onto these little black plugs, whatever the hell you want to call them. That's it. It's on. It's on. Then we had 2 screws here. Right here. Alright, that's it. That's on. The top goes on. There's little tabs here, and they kind of rock in like that. And they kind of, I wouldn't push too hard on them because they are plastic, but they should go in. And then we're going to plug this little connector back in here that we originally unplugged. That's connected. Slide down. We got 2 screws here. And that's it. And now we got to put this back part back in. I only had 1 screw on this, and I think there was 2 at one point. I don't really care. But anyways, this thing slides all the way in. if you look in there, you're not going to be able to see on the camera, but you'll see a spot for this thing to slide into another tube. So that's what I'm going to try to do right now. Next to impossible to see. Room to work with either. There, I think that's in. Then slide this in. Oh, bitch. There you go. And then the tabs go up and over. This tab, and there's another one on the other side, I think. Sure is. And then screw. And that's f***ing all she wrote. Slide her back in here. Watch your fingers. Put this back on as tight as possible. There you go. There you go. Bam! Tight! Tight! We got power. Let's try power. Power works. Let's start it. And just wait a few minutes. Let it warm up. In the meantime, clean up a little. Have a beer! Alrighty, she's toasty. She's toasty. Job well done. Pat yourself on the back and go have a brew. Cheers.